Welcome back to the Retro Craptacular podcast. I am your host, Aaron Dawson, and I'm joined once again by my co-host, Matt.
Glad to be here.
And we are continuing our search for the best bad movies on the planet Earth. This month, we viewed a cult classic of sorts. One of the most famous, what I thought was one of the most famous bad movies out there, 1980s Flash Gordon.
Clytus, I'm bored. What plaything can you offer me today?
An obscure body in the SK system, Your Majesty. The inhabitants refer to it as the planet Earth.
I like to play with things a while before annihilation.
Pathetic earthlings. Who can save you now?
Strange object imaged in the Imperial vortex.
Remove the Earth Woman. Prepare her for our pleasure.
Don't kill him yet, Father. I want him. Go, Flash, go!
Had you ever seen this movie before?
No, never had. Obviously, have heard the theme song before. Never seen the actual movie.
Let's talk about the theme song real quick. It is amazing.
It is absolutely incredible. Well, it's Queen.
It is absolutely amazing. And like in a decade where every movie had an amazing theme song, like we're talking Top Gun had Highway to the Danger Zone.
Oh yeah.
Other movies also had theme songs. You know, plenty of great music to come out of 80s movies. Scarface had Push It to the Limit. And more examples. Queen's setting the bar pretty high right out the gate, 1980.
Yeah, right at the cusp.
Right at the start of the decade, saying like, we're gonna have an amazing theme song for this movie. Y'all need to step up your game because we're bringing it hard.
And it is just too incredible.
And I don't know if it's ever been topped.
I like to this day, I don't believe so.
No, I don't think so. Maybe the Ja Rule song from Godzilla, but no,
But not quite, right?
No, definitely not. Take it back.
Best movie theme song, Flash Gordon. Best TV theme song, Highlander.
Yeah.
What do we have? Queen.
80s
rocking
perfection.
the world.
Oh yeah.
And easily one of the best things about this movie is just the soundtrack in general.
Princes of the Universe. I forgot about
Highlander.
Princes of the Universe too. Yeah,
I think about that daily.
great theme songs. So the point is, get Queen to do your theme song,
And life will be good.
or you suck. Yeah.
And better yet, get Queen to play your processional as you walk down the aisle of your wedding, because that happened in
That
this
did
movie and
happen.
it blew my
Yep.
damn mind.
You could get Brian May to play whatever the wedding procession.
Here Comes the Bride?
Yeah, is that what it's called?
I think so. I
Okay.
don't know.
Classic wedding processional song
But rocked
Yeah.
to perfection.
is amazing.
All right. so,
Three part guitar harmony. So good.
So yeah, Flash Gordon, the cult classic. It was stunning. Absolutely stunning.
What's it about?
So, we have evil galactic emperor Ming
Ming the Merciless,
the Merciless.
played by the Exorcist himself. Crap, what's his name?
Oh, Max von.
Sydow.
Yeah,
Thank you. Most recently of Star Wars: The Force Awakens fame. He's the old dude in the beginning.
yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Well, you could not tell by looking at him
No.
in this role in Flash
No.
Gordon.
Those eyebrows should have separate billing because they're amazing.
Too true. So yeah, Ming the Merciless, looking through his viewfinder that has a very elaborate, very large, and very view obstructing crosshair on it, and he finds Earth. And he's like, oh, yeah, another planet to mess with. Let's give them earthquakes and typhoons.
Yeah, now he has a button on his console that says earthquake,
Mm-hmm.
but he didn't know what the planet was called. It's called Earth.
Well, I think his right hand man says, it's the primitives call it Earth.
Yeah. But then he has a button on his console that says earthquake. And it's the earthquake button.
Yeah, I guess that's a question that's never really been addressed in science fiction. On other planets, would they call it an earthquake?
Was it a Mars quake?
Or would they just call it something more normal like a tremor?
Who knows? But he's got an earthquake button. He's
Typhoon button.
got a hot hail button.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Which is what causes all kinds of problems.
He's messing with the planet, but we really get down onto the planet as viewers with the hot hail.
Which is just meteors.
Yeah, and they fall to the sky sounding like robojets. Like,
Yeah.
I heard the sound and I thought,
Yeah.
is Starscream going to appear in this scene? But no, it was hot rocks that later we find are part of the moon?
Yeah, so he's like blowing up the moon, maybe?
Really slowly?
But it's like getting closer to Earth also?
Yeah, he wants to toy with Earth before he destroys it.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. Oh, but then later he backs out on his whole destroying it thing and he's like, well, I want to enslave it. His intentions really aren't that clear.
Yeah, no, clarity was not the strong point of this movie.
No.
Certainly not. Music and costumes, however, very much so.
On point.
But anyway, just further talk about the plot a little bit. We've got crazy scientist Dr. Zarkov, who...
Polish?
Maybe?
I'm saying Polish. I mean, probably an American, but like actor-wise. 'Cause
Yeah.
The accent
Was not that great.
flipped and flopped and was, yeah.
But yeah, crazy scientist thrown out of NASA, and meets up with our hero, Flash Gordon, who was a quarterback
Quarterback for the New York Jets.
for the New York Jets.
Which, now, this was a bit before my time, so I don't know if the New York Jets were a big deal in the 80s or not, but they aren't now. Okay. It's, so I don't know if this was like a bargain deal that they got, where it's like, they made with the New York Jets, like, can he be a Jets quarterback? And like, sure, yeah, give us like $50. Or if it was like, that was like a big get in the 80s. Like, maybe it was, I don't know. And I'm not really going to bother to look it up.
Because that's how little we care right now.
Yeah. Someone let me know. Were the New York Jets a big deal in the 80s? And also let me know if you're from New Jersey, because then I know how valid your opinion is.
So yeah, Flash Gordon and our heroine, I guess. I still don't know her name, even though I just watched the movie.
Dale.
Very feminine name. They get on an airplane together. Why? I don't know. Where they're going? Don't know. But
He was on vacation.
and he's coming back.
Yeah.
So presumably flying to New York.
Yeah. I was half expecting him to like jump out of the airplane and parachute onto the field in time to like make a winning pass or something like that.
Yeah, that would
That's
not
what
have been out of place.
That's what I expected from this movie.
But anyway, hot hail intervenes. And long story short, they have to crash land. They find the evil scientist. Evil scientist knows what's going on. He knows that this is an attack on Earth, all these crazy natural disasters. Well, I say natural, but hot hail. Anyway.
Meteor showers?
Yeah. Sure. Let's, not call it hot hail anymore. And anyway, he forces them to get on a spacecraft so that he can fly up to repel the invaders.
Yeah, he's
not
going
a very
to go
well
to
thought out plan.
space for a reason that is not made clear. But he threatens his assistant at gunpoint to get into the ship because he designed a ship that can't be flown unless someone is pressing down on a red pedal. And for whatever reason, he can't do that.
Well, he's got to be on the other side of the console.
On the other side, pressing the go button.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Which he hits with his head because he tries to kidnap Flash and Dale at gunpoint, and then Flash fights him and punches him, and his head hits the go button and starts the launch. And,
Classic.
Yeah.
And that's really the intro to this ridiculous sci-fi, really campy kind of
It only gets
movie.
weirder from there.
Yeah, because then they fly up and they're in Ming's universe. They go through some kind of psychedelic soup of a black hole.
Yeah. Well,
Space is really colorful.
well,
That's
I was
what I
gonna
learned
say,
in this
yeah,
movie.
like the background stuff, like all the cloud tank effects and stuff that they did, really, really good for this time period. Like this is only 3 years after Star Wars, same year as Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, okay.
So it is possible that George Lucas stole the whole metal bikini thing from this movie because there's a ton of them.
I never thought of that.
They're everywhere. Plus, also, it's just kind of interesting that George Lucas actually originally wanted to make Flash Gordon,
Oh,
but then couldn't get the rights to it, so then he decided to create Star Wars instead and do it in the style of Flash Gordon. And then when Star Wars was such a huge hit, then all of a sudden, I guess Universal was like, well, crap, we need a space fantasy movie right now. Why don't we make Flash Gordon? And then we got this. So I don't know if George Lucas's Flash Gordon would have been better or worse.
interesting.
Very interesting.
Interesting thought for
Yeah. But the
Other
special
thoughts?
effects, were they this is my question for the whole movie, kind of, but just about the special effects for right now. Were they cheesy on purpose, or is that literally the best they could do and the best they could afford?
That's really really hard to tell
Because the budget is $20 million. I looked it up. The budget's
Oh.
$20 million, which is a decent amount in $1980. Probably 1979 was when they shot it. And I believe the budget for the original Star Wars was 10.
wow.
And that looks leaps and bounds better than this movie.
Yeah, that's. I feel like they probably spent all of it on costume
And Queen.
and Queen.
Yeah. So you're in the camp of this is all they could afford.
I think so. I
Okay.
feel like everything about the movie points to the fact that they were trying really hard and taking it seriously.
Were they though?
But
Because that's the question I was asking myself the whole time. I was like, is this supposed to be serious, or do they know?
I feel like I don't feel like there was any winking at the audience though, you know? Like I mean not literally, but there were, but I feel like it would have come out more in the dialogue or in the acting, cuz I mean, you've got this ridiculous plot.
I think there's some people that know.
Well, maybe, yeah, but I mean,
I think Max von Sydow knows.
maybe his role is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking more of like Timothy Dalton, who graces us with his presence
And his mustache.
and his gorgeous era appropriate mustache. And he's just selling his role so hard with his
Yeah.
gorgeous voice. And I'm just like, what is he thinking right now?
Well, this is before Bond, so you know he's not really Timothy Dalton
I guess.
yet. So he's probably like, I got a job in the next Star Wars. This is gonna be the biggest thing since Star Wars, and then it wasn't. Because there's definitely people like Timothy Dalton who are taking it real serious. The guy that plays Flash, Sam L. Jones, I believe actually is his name,
I think so.
and the woman that plays Dale, they are both terrible.
Oh, yeah.
They are
Our leads are
charisma
Just
less. They are talent vacuums. Totally devoid of any acting ability. They're quite awful. But that's, Timothy Dalton, on the other hand, I found kind of charming. I dug Timothy Dalton.
Oh, yeah. It's hard not to.
So, yeah, I don't know. I was confused for the whole movie because I was trying to figure out, like, was everyone, like, fully on board for this, or was it a little, everyone was doing it a little tongue in cheek? Because the leads were so bad that I was like, well, maybe even if it is supposed to be tongue in cheek, maybe they just suck to the point where even if they're trying to be funny, they can't because they're just so bad.
Yeah, maybe. It's hard to tell, but there's just so many points in the movie where the ridiculousness is just too much. I burst out laughing so many times watching this movie, and not at times where it's like, oh, someone's making a joke.
No.
It'd be like Timothy Dalton is there with Flash Gordon, and he's like, "You've trespassed in this temple. Now you got to put your hand in a stump that a creature lives in. That if it stings you, you'll go mad and then die." And Flash Gordon's response is, "Well, of course."
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I watched you do this earlier where the guy put his hand in and then died or got stung, and then you mercy killed him with your sword. So yeah. Let's have a little game of hand and stump.
Hand and stump game.
And then they do.
Yeah, there are a couple moments like that where it's just like, this is ridiculous. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, right off the bat, one of my favorite characters, just to throw that out there, is Dr. Zarkov. I think he's ridiculous and hilarious.
That guy is hamming it up.
Like before Flash comes along, he's threatening his assistant at gunpoint to get in the plane with him or get in the rocket ship with him, and then his assistant starts to run away, and he's all like, "Whoa, why are you running away from me?" And then he says to his student, "Don't you have any spirit at all?" And his student's like, "No."
Yeah. So he's played by a guy named Topol. One name.
Right.
Who's from Tel Aviv, Palestine. And the following year he starred in For Your Eyes Only. So yeah, good for him. So they get launched into space. They go through the colorful vortex to Mungo, which is a cloud. So it's like a kingdom.
It's some kind of kingdom,
and there's planets, or it's not. Because there's like Arborea, which is the tree planet.
Or the tree place, at least. It's
tree place.
I feel like they travel between a bunch of them too quickly for them to be on different planets.
Yeah, just flying through a cloud. So it's like a cloud that has gravity in different places. Like there's an ice place.
Phrygia.
You get it? Arborea.
It's like a fridge.
Yeah.
Just awful.
It's a little on the nose, but I assume that's what it was like in the 30s. Like those were the names from the things in the 30s.
Oh yeah.
I've never seen the 30s Flash Gordon show, so I have no idea what it's like. But I imagine it's pretty similar, just in black and white.
Probably.
Because all the costumes in this are ridiculous.
Oh my word.
Brightly colored, bedazzled.
Lots of ornate headdresses.
So many ornate headdresses. The soldier characters, like Ming's soldiers, are wearing like red jumpsuits with gold plated armor over top, like shiny reflective gold armor. It's just nuts.
Oh, and you can see like the outlines of so many dongs throughout this movie.
There's a lot of bulge shots.
Yes.
Especially Flash.
Oh my gosh.
There's a lot of Flash bulges. But let's just not touch on that. It's just they're there. The costume and the costumes I think are my favorite thing in the movie, though. Like the art department and the production design. Like they're ridiculous, but it's super original, and like I don't know, you don't really see that kind of stuff before or anymore.
Yeah, that's true. It didn't make me think of anything else. They were all completely insane, varied beyond belief, but
Well, it kind of made me think of like it's like they're trying to do Star Wars, but like ramped up to 11. Like Ming's palace is kind of like their cantina, but instead of it being like grounded in the like reality, where you've got like aliens that are actually wearing space suits and stuff like that, it's just like ultimate high fantasy weirdness. Like swords that are like pure gold, and everyone's wearing jewels and gold shit, and there's fabric flowing everywhere.
And a lot of bare legs,
A
especially
lot of
from
bare
men.
legs. Yes, the Hawkmen are all wearing like brown leather, like underwear.
Yeah, with chest straps.
Yeah, and belts, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And wings.
A lot of leg, a lot of bulge.
Yeah. Slightly homoerotic, this movie.
But in a good way.
Yeah. But on the flip side, there are also, like I said before, there are many women in metal bikinis with like flowing drapery.
That's true. They do not discriminate. The costumes do not discriminate gender at all.
It's a celebration of the flesh, is what it really is.
Let's call it that.
Sure. Anything else you noticed that you want to?
Oh, yeah. Throughout all the ridiculousness, it was pretty cohesive. It's like this movie continues to be completely ridiculous.
Every scene was as ridiculous as the one before.
Yeah, and then
if not more.
Yeah, and then like the one moment that was gonna be like actually heroic and like altering, that I was like, oh man, this is actually gonna be pretty sweet, is when Flash Gordon takes Emperor Ming's right hand man, who has come to like arrest him and Timothy Dalton.
Yep.
And he takes him and throws him onto a bunch of spikes.
Oh yeah.
To like kill him and like start the revolt against Emperor Ming. And then it goes to his face as he dies, and just weird eyes and tongue bulging out of his face.
So this character for the entire movie has been wearing this black robe with a hood, and then has like a metal face, kind of like Doctor Doom.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of.
Kind of Doctor Doomy kind of face, but shiny.
And the bottom,
because everything's shiny.
And the bottom, he has like the jaw that's detached from the rest of it, so it moves as he talks.
And you can see his teeth and stuff, and it's kind of weird. Because I wasn't sure if he was supposed to be a robot or not.
Oh yeah, I didn't assume he was a robot.
I didn't assume he was.
I just assumed he had a mask on all the time.
Well, first I thought he did, but then I saw his teeth, and I was like, is that a mistake, or is that...
Again, it's hard to tell what's serious and what's not.
But yeah, then he dies, and like his eyeballs like bulge out, and his face is like bubbling through the mask and like melting out. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, that was got real weird.
Got real weird real fast.
Yeah, and then that just kind of threw the moment for me.
Yeah,
like, oh right, no, this is more the movie that I've been watching this whole time.
There is a lot of like different colored blood in the movie.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Like Ming stabs a dude with his sword, and like it's got a bunch of blue blood on it. And then the Arborian's blood is green. And
I think Ming's was green as well.
Ming's also was green, I believe.
Yeah. And when you think about it, though, Ming's daughter, who at one point does get tortured because she's turning on him.
Her blood's red.
Yeah, it's very red.
Yeah.
I just thought of that now.
Huh.
She also looks pretty human. But then again, so does Ming.
I mean, he does. I mean, the eyebrows are a little...
Well, that's fantasy eyebrows.
A little over the top.
Not very human.
He gets those plucked that way. But, yeah, his blood was green for whatever reason. That seems to be the running, factor in everything, is like, for whatever reason, this happens.
Yeah.
Like, they try to wipe Dr. Zarkov's mind.
Yeah, and turn him into some kind of agent, like take out his memories and make him a human robot, essentially.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, it doesn't work.
Because he recites Shakespeare to himself.
Oh, yes. Saved by the Bard. He recites Shakespeare, and then the mind erasing laser doesn't erase his memory. So then he fakes being Agent Zarkov.
Yep.
And then
And is supposed to go
does
capture Dale, but
stuff.
escapes
Oh,
with her instead.
yeah, does that. I really don't remember what happens in this movie, like plot wise. I
Yeah.
remember things. There's a lot of things that happen in this movie, like
Yeah,
the whip fight.
Yep. Whip fight on a rotating platform that spikes come in and out of.
Yep. Between Timothy Dalton and Flash Gordon, pretty good whip fight.
Yeah. Of the whip fights I've seen, it's definitely up there.
I don't think anyone's done a whip fight since.
Unless you count Balloon Shop.
I do count Balloon Shop.
You boss quit that whipping!
Did you like the fact that Timothy Dalton was kind of dressed like Robin Hood?
I always appreciate Timothy Dalton being dressed like Robin Hood.
Yeah. I was mourning the fact that we never got a Robin Hood movie starring Timothy Dalton as Robin Hood because he looked a lot like Robin Hood in this movie. And
Yeah.
would have made a real...
He's the king or prince, I think. Prince of Arborea, all the tree people. So they're all
Mhm.
wearing green. He's got his green tights.
Green blood.
He was
and-
just missing that hat.
Yeah, you stick a hat on him, he's basically Robin Hood.
Yeah, I've been racking my brain kind of trying to think, what can I say about this movie? But the whole experience feels a lot more like some kind of drug trip than, a plot that we followed.
It is. So, like, well, there's the weird telepathy scene. Do you want to get into that?
Right. So,
Ming's daughter, whatever her name is,
Aura, Princess
Aura, is
Who,
like
I think
is
the
like
actress's
super.
name is actually way more interesting than Princess Aura. What was it?
Okay,
I'm gonna
you
it
look
up real
that up. I'll explain. So she is like super into Flash. Like she's got a lady boner for Flash.
quick. Ornella Muti.
Wow.
That
Yeah.
sounds way more intense than Princess
Definitely.
Aura.
Yeah. So she's like, "Daddy, give me the Earthman. I want him." And Ming's like, "Oh no, your appetites are far too destructive,"
Yep.
which I think might be a little bit of slut shaming. From
Well, he's called Ming the Merciless.
yeah,
It comes out in a
Does
lot of
not-
ways.
Does not mince words, that guy. So basically, he's like, "You're too slutty. You can't have him. I'm going to execute him with gas." And then she convinces a doctor to help her fake Flash's death so that she can take him to her pleasure palace.
That, are the words that she used.
She has a pleasure palace built just for two, which I don't know. Is it really small, or do you just only let two? There's only one bedroom. I don't know.
Yeah, I was a little unclear as to what that meant, but
She's got a pleasure palace. They're going there. She's teaching him how to fly while like making out with him,
yep, and straddling
him, and then, but then she'll like get up and
stroking his
walk
chest.
around, and then she'll go back to straddling him and making out, and then at one point she's like, "I'm going to use my telepathy machine to
talk to Timothy Dalton.
talk to Timothy Dalton." And he's like, "You guys can do telepathy?" And she's like, "Of course. You don't have telepathy on Earth."
Weirdo.
Yeah, let me. He's like, "Can you show me?" And so then she teaches him how to do telepathy, and he calls up Dale, who is
Been
gonna be
made the concubine of the Emperor.
That's a good word. Yeah, and so she thinks he's dead, and all of a sudden he's like, "Yo, Dale, what up? Not dead?" And she's like, "Oh, I must be drunk from the magical pleasure juice that the servants gave me."
Yeah, let's not even
Which is
get
a
into
whole
that.
nother thing. Just watch the movie to figure out the pleasure juice scene on your own. I'm not going to give you everything. And he's like, "Nope, not drunk, flying a spaceship, talking to you with my brain." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, it is real." And then the whole time they're having this mental conversation, Princess Aura is just making out with Flash.
Yep.
And then at one point he's like, "Wow, this girl's really turning me on," I think is the line.
Yeah.
And then Dale's like, I didn't get that last bit. He's like, oh, nothing. Didn't think that. Okay, bye.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, that set the tone early on for like weirdness in this movie.
Mm-hmm. And telepathy never comes back either.
No.
They use a lot of radio and telescreens.
Yeah.
Telepathy never comes back.
No.
Mhm.
Just the one scene where it's needed most. But then Flash teaches all the aliens the power of friendship at the end when he doesn't throw Timothy Dalton off the rotating platform of spikes.
Right? Yeah.
And the Hawkman guy, who shouts every line,
It has a very large mouth.
a huge mouth,
And if I remember, also has a very awesome name.
probably he's got like this beard and a huge mouth, and he just everything is a declaration. He has to declare everything.
Yeah, like if you've ever seen the old Popeye where well, actually, no, just the old Popeye. The villain is basically always the same, no matter if it's Sinbad or Alibaba. It's always the same dude. That's what he reminds me of. Lots of beard, giant mouth.
Yeah.
And this this actor's name is Brian Blessed.
Oh, that's Brian Blessed. I saw his name in the credits, and I'm like, that's a weird name.
Yeah, that's great. But he
yeah.
plays Prince Voltan.
Yeah, of the Hawkmen. We're
Yep.
just a bunch of dudes running around in diapers with wings. Gold wings. Because, again, everything has to be way shiny in this movie.
It's a very
Hella
glitzy
shiny.
movie.
So then he, like, pulls Timothy Dalton off the thing, and they're like, why didn't you let him fall to his death? And he's like, because we can all be friends, and then we can kill Ming. I'm like, we can't kill Ming. He's the Emperor. And it's like, well, if you all decide to kill Ming, then you could
Kill Ming.
kill Ming. You could do it. You do anything you set your mind to, Voltar. And then they become friends. And Timothy Dalton throws Clytus, but the Emperor's side dude with the metal face. Doctor Doom. Throws Doctor Doom. Throws Doctor Doom on the spikes and kills him and all that stuff. And then Princess Aura and Dale have a sexy pillow fight at one point.
Yep, didn't see that coming.
Nope, it just starts to happen.
Just because.
Yeah. Well, because Aura is being declared a traitor.
And for that reason is thrown
into
into the
the
Emperor's bedroom with his concubine.
Naturally. And then they have a pillow fight because
Aura hates her because she's the Emperor's daughter.
Dale hates her.
Dale hates Aura.
Yeah. But then is also like, kill my father with this poison. He drinks a power potion every time before he makes love.
That's right.
So, slip the poison into his Viagra shake, and he'll die. But that scene never comes up, and I was so disappointed that we never got the power potion scene.
Yeah, I guess that was the plan was to poison him, after the wedding ceremony during the wedding night. But
and I just so
this
badly
movie ends at the wedding ceremony.
Yeah, I just so badly wanted a scene where he's like, "Oh yeah, drink my power potion, get juiced up, gonna bone down Ming style," and just like crushes like a Monster Energy drink, just like crushes the can, like throws it, and then has like an awesome like heart attack where like Max von Sydow can really like overdo it.
Oh yeah.
But instead, Flash Gordon just flies a spaceship through the wall of the palace and impales Ming with the giant spike on the nose of the spaceship.
Yeah.
And saves the Earth with like 15 seconds to go.
Yeah, somehow.
Well, I mean, he doesn't even... Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Timothy Dalton runs in and is like, the reactors are shut down. We're all good.
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah, Flash Gordon, kills... No. Ming turns his own ring on himself and sucks himself into his own ring instead of letting Flash Gordon cut his head off.
Even though he's already been impaled.
And then Timothy Dalton runs in and is like, it's cool, we shut the reactors down. Earth's fine.
Yeah, apparently the moon is no longer crashing into Earth.
No, it's all good. It's fine. It's totally cool.
Yeah.
It's all taken care of. It's like, oh, good. I'm glad we didn't have to see that.
Yeah, and
The
then
whole wedding scene, though, is pretty amazing. Starting with the Brian May processional guitar solo,
incredible.
and then moving into like Ming's vows, where
And
it's
you,
like,
Emperor Ming, take this Earthling to be your wife, to do with as you please.
yeah, until such a time as you grow tired of her and decide to throw her out into space.
So ridiculous.
And he's like, I certainly do. You know. And then he gets a ring, and she clearly is not down with it.
And has very little to do with the wedding at all.
Yeah, but everyone just kind of ignores that and gets on with it. And then spaceship crashing and all that jazz.
Yep. And then, as you said, Emperor Ming, instead of just dying, does something with his magical mind control ring,
Yeah.
in which he disappears and the ring stays and it falls to the ground.
And then a hand picks it up at the very end and
Yeah,
it
the
says
credits.
the end question mark.
Yeah, just before the
And
credits
you
start.
hear him laughing. But
So I guess we are still awaiting the magnificent sequel to Flash Gordon.
yeah, the movie did not do well at the box office. It only made 27 million at the box office, which is 7 million more than its budget.
Yeah.
So
Which, as far as like movies go,
that's not a big profit,
no.
and possibly also still a loss depending on how much they spent on advertising.
Mm.
It's kind of the general rule, at least nowadays with big budget movies, is you spend your budget again on advertising.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much.
Wow.
Not all movies do, but I guess the idea is if you have a $200 million investment in a movie, you want to make sure everyone knows it's out there, so you spend another $200 million
Making sure
advertising it.
everyone knows.
Yeah.
Right.
So a movie like, Star Wars has to make 400 million opening week kind of thing in order to make its money back and be profitable. So
Right.
yeah, there's a reason why they have to make $1 billion now. I imagine in 1980 those numbers are a little different.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
Maybe you spend 10 million on advertising if you're a $20 million movie, but still they still didn't hit 30. So
No.
I think that's everything on my list. Did you have anything that you
No, that was
Oh.
everything on mine.
I had the Halt Lizard Man scene. Do you remember that?
Oh, when they first get to Ming's palace.
Yeah.
And they don't know what's going on yet. They're just being brought in by a droid as
Yeah.
prisoners.
A little flying robot thing that talks to them. And all of a sudden, this lizard thing runs behind them in the background, and the droid goes, "Halt, lizard man!" And the lizard thing stops, and the robot flies up to them, and he goes, "Escape is futile," and then just zaps it with a laser and obliterates
Yeah,
it.
but there's like a little bit of a pause. Escape is futile. Turn back. And it's just like standing there.
Oh yeah, it says turn back, and then it goes,
And then it just kills
him,
him.
vaporizes him.
Didn't really give him much of a chance to.
No,
Change his mind.
not at all.
And then that robot comes back at the very end after
Oh,
Zoltan
yeah.
is destroyed, and they're like, "Flash, watch out!" And the
Not
droid is.
Zoltan, Ming.
Oh, sorry,
Ming. Zoltan's still around forever.
my bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, the droid is approaching, and everyone's like, "Flash, look out!" And then it says, "Don't move." For some reason, I don't know why
Yeah.
Dale says, "Don't move," but then the droid is like, "Congratulations, Flash! You've saved Earth," or something like that.
Yeah. And Flash Gordon goes, "Yes!" And does like a double fist bump, like jump in the air, like hooray moment. And like it's going to be a freeze frame. And it does freeze frame
It does.
for like a second and a half. And then immediately cuts to the next scene.
Yeah, it was kind of confusing. But
And then
that
there's a big ceremony at the end. And the Hawkmen write "Thanks, Flash" in the sky, like flying in formation.
Yeah, I forgot about that already. That's special.
Do they go back to Earth? They do.
Yeah. Dale says to Dr. Zarkov, "Are we ever gonna make it back to Earth?" And Dr. Zarkov's like, "I don't know." but
Right.
we'll try.
Right.
Like it's oh well, but it's actually like no, we really want to get back home and we don't know if there's a way.
We've zero idea if we can make it.
But that
That-
is
yeah. We're never.
Flash Gordon.
It's not important because there's no sequel. But I am so perplexed by this movie still. Would I watch it again? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, for me, I'm not even thinking I am perplexed. I'm just incredibly amused.
Yeah,
This movie was so funny to me.
yeah.
So funny.
It lived up. Like I don't know if it lived up to my expectations. Like it lived up to the hype though. Like because I expected something totally different than what I got, but what I got was still pretty awesome. So I'm not disappointed. I'm gonna say so bad it's good.
So bad it is good.
Yeah, we got one. Do you want to do Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah.
All right.
Rotten Tomatoes. So it didn't do that great in the box office, but it is so incredible to watch now. What was it like then? Rotten Tomatoes, is it like 87?
82,
Wow.
which is higher than I thought it would be. I thought it would be like maybe like 60, 65. But the consensus is campy charm and a knowing sense of humor help to overcome a silly plot involving a spacefaring ex-football player, his adoring bevy of groupies, and a supervillain named Ming the Merciless.
So they assume
Yeah.
that they weren't taking themselves seriously.
That seems to be what the assumption is from critics. I don't know if I agree with that. This guy, David Kerr from the Chicago Reader, says it's a respectable time waster.
And that is a very good way of putting it.
And Roger Ebert says, is it fun? Yeah, sort of it is. So, I don't know if we can give it a better review than that.
I don't think so.
But we forgot about the awesome football scene.
Oh, let's let them experience that for themselves.
There's an amazing football scene. Go check it out. Totally worth it. Awesome. Well, that just about does it for us.
Yeah.
Flash Gordon, excellent watch, real fun. Watch it with friends.
I was just about to say,
Yeah.
don't watch that alone.
Don't watch it alone. Watch it with friends. I mean, movies that are so bad that they're good, always better to watch with friends. You can make jokes the whole time. And yeah, this was a good one. Very pleased.
So ridiculous.
Should we go ahead and announce next month's movie?
Yeah, why not?
No? All right. Next month's movie is in anticipation of Alien Covenant coming out on May 19th. We are going to be watching Alien vs. Predator, the 2004 classic.
I think it would be the newest thing that we've watched so far.
Probably the newest thing that we watched, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What did we watch last time? Power Rangers, right? That was 90s. Yeah. This will be the newest one.
Mhm.
And probably be the most modern for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about doing Alien Resurrection, but I don't want to watch Alien Resurrection again.
Yeah, that's fair.
At least not yet. Maybe later down the road. There's going to be more Alien movies, so maybe for the next one. But for now, we're going to do, I think, the first Alien versus Predator.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
We'll save the second one for another time. So we're going to be doing that. Look forward to that. And until next time, follow us on Twitter at RetroCrapPod. And if you like the show and you want to toss us some shekels, you can do so on Patreon. Patreon.com/RetroCrapPod, I believe. There's a link on Twitter. Go to Twitter. It's linked there. You can get exclusive stuff like commentary tracks and that sort of thing. We haven't done one yet, but we're going to be doing one sometime this year, probably.
We will.
We
yeah.
will. We will. I just don't know when.
TBD.
TBD on that. And if you want to send us an email for whatever reason, if you're like old and you don't understand Twitter, if you want to send us an email, you can do that, retrocrappod@gmail.com. Head over to iTunes, subscribe. write us a nice review, give us a nice rating. It helps get the show out there to more people. And can also subscribe on YouTube, the Retro Craptacular on YouTube.
We have got to find a way to say all that way faster.
I will write down a thing.
Well, thanks so much for listening.
Thanks so much for listening. Until next time, keep watching crap. It's my Walter Cronkite line.
I like that.
It's not bad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.